Tonight on GRAVITAS, we are taking you beyond the Russia-Ukraine battlefield and decoding what's actually been happening behind the scenes. It's not just the usual exchange of fire on the ground. This is about a series of extraordinary developments which shows just how far the two sides are really going and how the war seems to be expanding. How Moscow is sending out a chilling warning to its adversaries beyond the battlefield of Ukraine. Let's decode this bit by bit. Again, with the US side stepping in a way, the European allies are coming together, putting up that united front to stand by Ukraine. More weapons, more aid, more support is being promised by the so-called coalition of the willing. Let's first get to the very latest from the battlefield. A lot to unpack there. Russian forces are unleashing another wave of missiles and drones across Ukraine as Kyiv struggles with that growing shortage of Patriot interceptors. Not just that, at the same time, Moscow is putting a new nuclear weapon carrier through sea trials. From the Ukrainian battlefield to the depths of the ocean, Russia seems to be displaying two very different forms of firepower, essentially. The night sky over Ukraine lit up once again. Take a look. In fact, in that latest assault, Russia launched around 150 drones along with a ballistic missile and an air-to-surface missile. Ukraine saying its air defenses destroyed or jammed as many as 124 drones, but strikes were recorded at 17 locations. Ukraine, in fact, says Russian attacks across the country killed at least 5 people and injured about 100. Chernihiv Oblast was among the hardest hit after Russia launched a wave of strikes following Ukraine's Independence Day. The Russian military claiming that it has destroyed a drone crew of the Ukrainian military. The Russian Ministry of Defense also claiming that it has eliminated about 1,000 Ukrainian troops. Now, these are claims made by both Russia and Ukraine on a daily basis. It's also hard to really verify what's happening on the ground, really, in the fog of war. Let's also tell you how one missile used in the latest assault is also causing a lot of concern. According to the Ukrainian military, Russian forces fired a dual-capable missile system that can carry either conventional or nuclear warheads. Now, there is no indication that a nuclear warhead was used in this attack. This missile system travels at hypersonic speeds. We are talking about between Mach 6 to Mach 7. So that's roughly around 7,500 to 9,300 kilometers per hour. During its terminal phase, as it dives towards the target, it can accelerate up to Mach 7.3 to even Mach 8. Now, the Russian Ministry of Defense released these images, which basically claim to show the destruction of a Ukrainian Flamingo long-range cruise missile launch site. And it's also coming at a time when Ukraine is under a lot of pressure to stop such ballistic threats. Patriot interceptors are in short supply. And Ukraine is once again asking Western allies for more systems as Russia keeps combining ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, huge drone waves. Zelensky once again warning that Russia could escalate the conflict later this year by mobilizing around 300,000 additional forces, additional troops after parliamentary elections in the month of September. Now, the so-called coalition of the willing, basically a group of countries backing Ukraine, has promised to come to the aid of Ukraine, but to what extent is the question. One pressing problem remains largely beyond their control, which is securing additional Patriot interceptor missiles. Listen to this.
The last weeks were very clear about the fact that we have to accelerate the delivery of interceptors. And we had this coalition, the Freya coalition, and the Integrated Anti-Ballistic Missile Coalition launched the 13th of July. I think it's very important that all of us accelerate in terms of delivery. We had a 2-hour discussion 2 days ago with Volodymyr, so I don't want to be longer here, but we will accelerate on the French side.
And on the battlefield, Ukraine is hitting back, of course. Kyiv says its forces struck an oil refinery in Russia's Krasnodar region, triggering a fire. The refinery has a capacity of around 6.25 million tons of crude oil a year. Ukraine has increasingly targeted Russian energy and military infrastructure deep behind the front line. But the true strategic shockwave is unfolding far beneath the Arctic waters. Russia has launched sea trials for a 10,000-ton nuclear-powered special-purpose submarine. Let's just break this down for you further. This submarine is basically designed to carry Poseidon underwater drones, and reports say the vessel is intended to carry up to 6 of these weapons. Poseidon is much heavier than usual torpedoes, so special tubes basically were installed in the new submarine. Poseidon is unlike a conventional missile. It's basically a giant nuclear-powered autonomous underwater vehicle designed to travel underwater over very long distances. Before reaching a target, it's intended to carry a nuclear warhead and attack coastal or naval targets. Poseidon is claimed to be capable of generating devastating radioactive contamination and tsunami-like effects. The trials and the continuous use of nuclear-capable and hypersonic missiles sending out a strong message to Russia's adversaries, basically. They show Russia continuing to develop strategic weapons designed to complicate enemy defenses. Above Ukraine, missiles and drones are testing air defenses. Below the ocean, Poseidon is testing the limits of strategic deterrence. 2 battlefields, 1 message from Moscow. Russia is expanding the ways in which it can threaten an adversary.